another stitch. My name is Connie, and this is my very first YouTube video. Yay! And this is Frank. He's my model. If you're in any Facebook groups that I'm in, you've probably seen pictures of him modeling all my finished projects. And speaking of which, right now he's modeling a top hat that I recently made from Mikey's video on the crochet crowd. I'm going to link the video in the description box below in case you're interested in making this hat. I did Frank's hat in Red Heart Super Saver black yarn with Red Heart With Love metallic and charcoal for the band. And my hat, I did the same color for the band, but for the hat itself, I did Red Heart Super Saver in Perfect Pink. So on my channel, I plan to talk about crochet related topics on Tuesday. So that will be Crochet Tuesdays, and Thursdays will be Knitting Thursdays, which will be all about knitting. Now I may do some random videos in between. And then once I get enough subscribers, I would like to do live videos so I can get to know you, my subscribers, better. I also have a Facebook group. I'm going to put the link for it in the description box below. It only has about 15 members right now, but I'm trying to get it growing, and I would love to have you. I'd also like to know what projects you're working on or have recently completed. You can email those to me. I'm going to include my email in the description box below. And what I'd like to do is make a little slideshow of your projects. Now, if for any reason you don't want your projects included in my videos, please let me know and I won't include them. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. Like I said, my name's Connie. My husband is Frank. We're from Louisiana. We have 2 cats, Alley Cat and Sophie. And if you hear any noise in the background, more than likely it's Sophie. She has this horrible habit of knocking things over. It drives me nuts. But she's such a lovable cat, you can't help but love her. Also, I like making shawls and hats the most. Those are my favorite things to make. I like making cutesy items. And I also love holiday items, especially hats and scarves. Now, scarves I don't make as many of because I have gotten a lot of them at yard sales and thrift stores. So I have a big collection of scarves. So usually if I'm going to make a scarf, it's holiday because those are more specialty type of scarves. So I'm going to tell y'all how I got into knitting and crochet. A few years ago, maybe more than a few years ago, I had tried playing around with crochet, but I didn't get very far with it. I don't even think I was doing the single crochet stitch correctly, and then I know I wasn't turning right, and I don't even think I was skipping the stitches where I was supposed to. And I grew frustrated with it and basically gave up, even though I'm really not the type of person that gives up on things. And on some level, I really truly didn't give up on it because I always did intend to go back to it, which I finally did. But for the longest time, I thought I could only learn if someone showed me how to do it. And I ended up going to this church event where I wore this shawl I got from a thrift store. Yes, I love thrift stores and yard sales. I really love them. But anyway, so I wore this crochet shawl that I had gotten. And everyone at the church event was asking me if I made it, and it's like, no, I didn't. But it motivated me to learn how to make those items. I was determined. And I remembered as a kid, I used to have this little loom that I made Barbie doll dresses on. And it was easy. So I looked into seeing if they had looms to make regular projects with. And they do. And I got a loom set from Walmart. And I started learning. I started watching YouTube videos, learned how to make hats. Then I started making shawls. But the thing with loom knitting is I find it restricts you with the sizing. And a lot of times you'll have to sew panels together. And I'm really not a big fan of sewing panels together. And I avoid it if I can. Because whenever I knit hats, I always knit them in the round because I don't want to sew that seam up the side. To me, it's just easier. And then I also found you didn't find as many loom knitting patterns online. I kept coming across knitting patterns, which got me curious about knitting. And I had gotten a set of knitting needles from a yard sale. And one weekend I started playing around watching YouTube tutorials, and I learned how to knit. And I really liked it, and I seemed to catch on quickly. I started knitting, I think it was May of 2019, so I haven't been a knitter that long. And I had gotten on this kick where I was making a lot of holiday projects, especially Halloween. And whenever I would look for patterns, I was having a hard time finding adult sizes. But I would always find what I was looking for in crochet, which kind of piqued my interest back into crochet. And I had come across one of those subscriptions for a few dollars for a year for Craftsy. So I figured, can't hurt, let me check it out. I'll just cancel before the end of the year, because if you don't, it's quite expensive after your first year. Well, they had crochet lessons. So I looked into it. I did the one by Selena Baca. And Selena Baca is awesome. I love how she teaches. I give her full credit for teaching me how to crochet. And she was very thorough, very easy to understand, and I'll learn right away. She made it clear how many stitches you needed to skip, how to turn, counting your stitches, knowing what the stitches look like. And these are all very important when you learn how to crochet. And she also taught you how to read written patterns. And I started crocheting the end of September of 2020. So I have not been crocheting long at all. But I'm already hooked. I'm a hooker. So for 2021, I've set some goals of things that I want to make this year or learn how to do. And after I finish the temperature blanket I'm working on for 2020, I plan to start this ocean blanket, the one with the real pretty seahorses on it. And blankets is something I haven't done a lot with. I've only made one baby blanket for a friend, and then I had made, I'm about to finish the temperature blanket that I've been talking about. And that's all I've done with blankets. So I'm going to start a big project. Kind of nervous about it, but it'll be worth it. And then I want to do one of those peppermint blankets, and I hope to have that finished by Christmas time. I think those are beautiful. And then I want to do my first poncho. I want to do that in granny stitch. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also plan to do a temperature blanket for 2021. And the temperature blanket, I'm going to do granny stitch. I'm going to do the average temperature for the week instead of the daily average. Because if I do daily, it's going to become way too big. And I think I'm going to do three rows for the week. And hopefully that gets me to the desired length. Which, speaking of temperature blankets, that will be an upcoming video very, very soon. As soon as I finish my 2020 temperature blanket. And I find temperature blankets are really cool. They're fun. So, look forward to seeing that soon. And also, I also want to learn how to knit my first pair of socks. So that's another goal of mine. And I think I mentioned everything that I'm planning. That's definitely on my to-do list for 2021. I also want to show you. This is the third part of my shipment that I had for Joann's order, but I'm just going to show you what came in today. This is the Big Twist holiday yarn. Oops. Let's see. You see how pretty that is? It has the sporkles. I love sporkles. I think sporkles are gorgeous. I love holiday yarn. And this color is red, green, white solid. And I have 5 skeins of these, and I want to do a Christmas shawl and have it made for Christmas. I can't wait. And I've been wanting Christmas yarn so bad, and I finally got some. And this is the other skein. It's the Big Twist emerald green. Look how pretty this shade of green is. And I really love the Big Twist yarn. I'm finding that they're typically cheaper than Red Heart's yarn, and they're softer. So, yeah, I love this. So, I think that basically covers everything I want to cover in my first video. Oh, another thing I want to mention. If you ever want to mail me anything, just email me and I will email my mailing address to you. I don't feel comfortable putting it in the description box. So if you ever need to mail me anything, just ask. And I think that covers everything. Please subscribe to my channel. Like my video. Please share it. This will help my channel grow. And I really, really appreciate it if you do. And I hope y'all have a very yarny day. Bye!